What's going on, guys? Super Insane 18 here, and today I am bringing you an updated branded deck profile. Now, I know the ban list didn't really change all that much, only hitting the expulsion, but the deck actually has changed quite a bit, so let's go ahead and show you guys the build. And before we get into it, don't forget to check out the channel sponsor Dueling Guard, link in the description down below. Use my code INSANE18 at checkout for 5% off your entire order. They make incredible TCG accessories like this mat. Alright, so let's go ahead and start off the main deck with our 3 copies of Fallen of Albaz. And honestly, guys, play whatever number of this you want. I'm kind of flip-flopping back and forth between 2 and 3, and both feel right in their own aspects. Anytime I only play 2, I miss the 3rd. Anytime I play 3, I feel like I don't need it. So it's kind of like that weird gray area, but for now I'm going to go ahead and rock 3 just because I feel like it's super important, especially moving into a more Nadir Servant heavy build, as you guys are going to see later on in the deck list. But yeah, 2 or 3 doesn't really matter. Both have their arguments for why they are correct. So whatever you're most comfortable with, but right now I'm going to be rocking 3. Then we have 2 copies of Blazing Cartesia. I don't know why I was ever only playing 1 of this in my previous builds. This card is absolutely nuts. I definitely think you have to play this at 2. I've even considered bumping it to 3. That might be a little too bricky, but I feel like 2 is probably the correct ratio. And then of course we have our 1 Quem. Quem is just a disgusting card, so yeah, don't really need to explain much about her. She is absolutely insane. On to the rest of the Albaz cards, we have our 1 Spriggan's Kit, our 1 Tri-Brigade Mercurier, and our 1 Albion the Shrouded Dragon. These are just kind of utility for the deck. Obviously, this is part of the Nadir line, although it's a little bit outdated. There are much better Nadir lines. I'm actually going to show you guys a combo at the end of the video, so make sure that you stay tuned for that. This is really good. I still kind of want to play 2 of it, but I don't have the room at the moment, and Albion is Albion. Onto the Despias, we have our 3 copies of Aluber, the Jester of Despia. This is one of, if not the best normal summons in the deck. You can argue Quem is maybe a better normal summon, but both Aluber and Quem are summonable off of the branded opening. So I do think you want to max out on this, and then we just have our 1 Tragedy and our 1 Ad Libitum for the utility as well. Then we still have 2 Bestials. We have the Bestial Lubellion and the Bestial Saronir. Again, massive utility cards, best light target to send off of the branded fusion, and then Saronir just kind of pairs with it. Saronir is able to get you into your Retribution in the grave, so yeah, really, really strong. And now the next card is actually the 1-to-1 replacement for branded Expulsion, and it actually does so much more than Expulsion ever did, and that is going to be Dogmatica Maximus. Obviously, this is a target for Nadir Servant, and it is going to be part of the combo at the end, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And then the final monster is going to be our Gimmick Puppet Nightmare. Yes, we are still gimmick puppeting people. Obviously, the Expulsion hit didn't matter because of the Sanctifier Dragon, so still definitely play the Gimmick Puppet. If you are going first in game 1, it is essentially almost a free win. So yeah, that's it for the monsters. Onto the spells and traps. We have 3 branded one-ofs. We have our branded in High Spirits, our branded Lost, and our branded in Red. All of these I don't really feel like need explaining. The only one you might be a little curious on is the branded in Red, and it is one of the Nadir Servant lines as well. Then we have a few more one-ofs. We have our Call by the Grave because we still don't want to get ashed, even though now we finally have a playthrough ash. We have our Foolish Burial and our Goldsark. These are just pseudo starters, being able to send the Tragedy, or in the case of Goldsark, it can also send the Mercurier, and just get you going when you otherwise wouldn't be able to. We are on 2 copies of Triple Tactics Talent. This is actually a little bit strange. The reason I'm opting on the double talents is if they Ash Blossom me and I don't have Nadir Servant, I definitely want to try to dig for it. So being able to just draw 2 in the face of an Ash Blossom if I didn't open the Nadir Servant, really, really good. If I did open the Nadir Servant, just rip another card out of their hand. So yeah, I think Tactics is probably the way to go moving forward. Obviously, we have the heart and soul of the deck in our 3 branded fusion. Don't need to explain. We have our 3 branded opening. This card is insane with the addition of Quem, being able to summon either the Aluber or the Quem, making this card's utility just skyrocket through the roof from where it used to be. We still have our 3 copies of Fusion Deployment. This is really good to get your Cartesia out of your deck immediately, but it's also kind of good in a going second scenario, being able to summon your Albaz from deck and then fusing away with one of your opponent's monsters. We are on 3 copies of Nadir Servant. Some people were playing 2, but with the addition of Maximus, and you guys will see that combo, I think that this is a mandatory 3 of. You absolutely want to see this in your opening hand. That's going to be it for the spells. We have our 1 copy of Branded Retribution. just for the recursion of it. And then we have our 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence as one of our going second cards, and honestly, Impermanence is just a really good card anyway. That's the main deck at 42. Let's show you guys the extra. Now, the extra for this deck has changed quite a bit because of the nadir line, so you guys are going to see a lot of cards that haven't really been seeing that much play, but here we go. We have our 1 copy of our Dusk Dragon and our 1 copy of Despia Quietus. These are just the utility cards. This is the main way that you gimmick Puppet Lock. This card's honestly just insane with the addition of Cartesia. Then we have our 1 copy of Albion the Sanctifier Dragon. This is essentially just expulsion on legs. Obviously, it's a little bit weaker because it can't do from banished, but yeah, it's just a really good card, so you gotta play it. It lets you just win games for free. We have our 1 copy of Brigand the Glory Dragon, 1 copy of Lubellion, 1 copy of Rindbrum, and 1 copy of Sprind. All of these are relatively self-explanatory. The Brigand is actually a really big part of the nadir line that you guys are going to see, so you kind of have to play this now just because of what you're able to do with it. And yeah, so the Sprint is also mostly for the nadir line, but it's also just good if your opponent does something like Contact CU, which happened to me at Locals the other day, so you just kind of have to be prepared. Then we also have 1 copy of Titaniclad, the Ash Dragon. This is also for the nadir line, being able to send it. It's not part of the combo that I'm going to show you guys today, but I will be bringing you guys another dedicated combo tutorial, so make sure you guys are subscribed with notifications on so you know when that drops. We have our 2 copies of Albion the Branded Dragon. Wish I could play 3, but I just really don't have the room. I'm already cutting things I don't necessarily want to cut, just to make room for the nadir lines. We have our 2 copies of Mirror Jade. Mirror Jade is Mirror Jade. Don't really need to go into too much depth there. We have our 1 copy of Guardian Chimera. This is just an insane card. Being able to be branded in red on your opponent's turn for this is just, if you're doing that, you're probably winning the game. We have our 1 copy of Lulu Walilith, which is really good if you want to summon it as another interruption, but also really, really good as a nadir fodder as well, being able to summon out either your Quem or your Cartesia. And the final card is the Tri-Brigade Arms Bucephalus. That is actually the heart and soul of the nadir combo that you guys are about to see, so let's go ahead and show you guys how it works. With this combo, you guys are going to see how you can gimmick Puppet Lock your opponent using nothing but a single copy of Nadir Servant, and I can't take credit for this combo, so I will give credit where credit is due. Big shout out to Galzo, incredible content creator, incredible branded player. I saw this combo on his channel, so make sure you guys check him out. Without him, this probably wouldn't be a thing, so let's show you guys how it works. We are going to say that, let's just hypothetically, your only play was Branded Fusion, your Branded Fusion gets ashed, but thankfully for you, you have Nadir Servant in your hand. You're going to go ahead and activate the Nadir Servant, and this is going to send your copy of Tri-Brigade Arms Bucephalus to the graveyard from the extra deck in order to add you a copy of Dogmatica Maximus. On resolution, the Bucephalus is going to activate, which is going to go ahead and send us a copy of Brigand the Glory Dragon, because it is a beast, from the extra deck to the graveyard, and now we are good to do the full combo. We're going to go ahead and take the Bucephalus and banish it for the effect of Dogmatica Maximus to summon itself, and once Dogmatica Maximus is on the field, we can use its effect to make both players send cards from their extra deck to the graveyard. Here we are going to go ahead and send the Albion the Branded Dragon and the Despian Lulu Walilith, and then we can go ahead and proceed to end phase. And as you'll notice, we have 3 cards that actually do an incredible amount of advantage on our end phase. So first we're going to resolve the Brigand the Glory Dragon, which can special a Tri-Brigade or Fallen of Albaz. That's going to let us special summon our Fallen of Albaz. Next we can go ahead and resolve the Lulu Walilith, which can go ahead and summon a Spellcaster with 1500 attack and defense. That can be either Quem or Cartesia. In this instance we are going with the Cartesia. And then finally we can resolve the Albion the Branded Dragon, and that is going to set our copy of Branded in red from our deck to our side of the field, and then we can go ahead and pass to our opponent. Now you might be wondering how this turns into the Gimmick Puppet Lock, so let me show you. It's our opponent's turn, and as soon as we are able to, we are going to go ahead and activate the Cartesia. We will fuse itself and the Albaz into our copy of Dusk Dragon, which will then activate the Dusk Dragon on summon to send our puppet from the deck to the graveyard. On resolution, we can go ahead and activate the Branded in red, targeting out our copy of Fallen Albaz, adding it to our hand and allowing us to fuse. Here we can fuse the Albaz with either the Maximus or the Dust Dragon because they are both light spellcasters. It's probably better to use the Maximus though, and that's going to go ahead and summon out our copy of Sanctifier Dragon, which we can then use on resolution, targeting the Gimmick Puppet and the Cartesia, summoning the Cartesia to our side of the field, and giving the Gimmick Puppet to our opponent, thus locking them with just Nadir Servant. And there you guys have it. That is going to be my branded Despia deck profile for the June ban list format. Make sure you guys check out Galzo. Again, that Nadir Servant combo was entirely his. I have to give credit where credit is due. If you guys liked it, you know the deal. Make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, like, comment, share with your friends, maybe consider supporting me on Patreon. Don't forget that I intend to bring you guys another combo tutorial for this deck in the near future, so make sure you're on the lookout for that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.